Well, good afternoon. Welcome inside the WVLT newsroom here on this Tuesday. We're joining you to take a little bit of a look at world events and how that is now creeping into East Tennessee. Of course, right now we're going to take a look at the Israel and Iran conflict that really started to light up at the end of last week, coming into the beginning of this week. There are a lot of parts to this here in East Tennessee as we look at folks who live in East Tennessee who are stuck in the Middle East as they took vacations and tried to work their way back, as well as 3 Loudon County Sheriff's deputies who are serving in the Middle East and could possibly be affected by the events that are taking place in the Middle East. As we go ahead and start looking at exactly what's happening as we move across this Israel and Iran conflict. The president actually at the G7 summit, a meeting of 7 power countries across the world, the president actually leaving a day early. Officials telling us he left a day early because of the Iran and Israel conflict. White House officials saying that this has nothing to do with ceasefire negotiations in this battle, but rather something, quote, much bigger than that. Right now, U.S. officials are very firm that there are no plans at the time being for U.S. troops to be involved in Israel's actions in Iran, but there are many assets, as you can see here, one of the Nimitz-class carriers now being repositioned to the Middle East for further presence from the United States in the Middle East right now. Again, this is a live look now in Tel Aviv this morning. They have had to battle an onslaught of Iranian responses in missile strikes, air strikes of the sort, after they dealt a pretty heavy blow to Iran earlier in the week. There are East Tennessee ties all over this conflict right now, including an Alcoa eye doctor who is stuck in Jerusalem. We found this out over the weekend. Our Lexi Lepoff actually spoke to him Sunday to learn more details, what he was doing in Jerusalem, his home country, and then working his way back now. Just yesterday, we learned that he was on his way to Jordan. He and his 19-year-old daughter, who he's on that vacation with, actually made it over there safely. But we talked with Dr. K, or Lexi talked with Dr. K, and filed this report for us yesterday.
This is the saddest time I've ever seen Jerusalem in. Because everybody is trying to leave, as you understand, it is chaotic.
Khaled Aboumayale is watching his hometown in Jerusalem in distress while he's trying to get back to his current home in East Tennessee.
We got stuck, so now we're trying to find a way out. So hopefully we will.
Many know him just as Dr. K, a beloved eye doctor at the Alcoa Walmart for more than 25 years.
As a doctor, you're trying to, my instinct is to fix something, and I can't fix it. I can't fix this. So it breaks my heart. I don't know what to do.
A planned trip with his 19-year-old daughter to visit family turning into a dangerous situation. Missiles soaring above as Israel and Iran trade airstrikes, forcing airports to close and flights canceled.
I think I've booked the ticket about 6 times right now. It's more or less just feeling like I'm trapped. I need to be able to do something, but you can't.
Now sheltering in a family home.
This is above our house.
He says the missiles come overnight.
The whole ground shakes. That's something like you can't explain it to people. Like the whole windows shake. Everything is shaking. The ground is shaking.
The airstrikes paired with loud warning sirens roaring on smartphones and throughout the sky, bringing sleepless nights filled with anxiety.
Every time that goes off, the kids freak out. Even I, an adult, I can't even go to sleep. I'm just, you get mentally exhausted.
Feeling hopeful to return to the United States, but carrying some guilt. Not everyone has a safe option.
I kind of don't want to make a big deal out of this because I think about what I'm going through and what other people are going through. This is nothing.
Again, that was our Lexi Lepoff reporting. Now, she did text with Dr. K, finding out that he and his daughter successfully crossed the river into Jordan. They're hopeful to be able to get a flight from the United States back. Again, this is a live look right now at Tel Aviv this morning. It's actually afternoon in Tel Aviv now, but here locally, we're still in about the 11 o'clock hour here on this Tuesday. That trip to Jordan is actually very familiar to, or similar rather, to what our Alan Williams and the group from First Baptist Knoxville had to take about a year and a half ago when the Israel-Hamas war started. That happened at a time when Alan and the rest of First Baptist were overseas on a pilgrimage to learn more about Christianity and how it related in the area when Hamas attacked Israel back in October. Then they worked to get their way back to America. They had to also get to Jordan at a time where it wasn't very safe to be in the Middle East as Americans. We just talked about Dr. K and his 19-year-old daughter who were visiting their family in the Middle East when they had to work their way back. But also right now, this is the president talking about the situation right now.
They should talk, and they should talk immediately before it's too late.
Again, President Trump very big on making deals. He was standing next to Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney at the time at the G7 summit again, which the president returned from early. He was talking about hopefully striking one of his preferred deals between Israel and Iran, to try and bring this quick war to an end. Again, the president tweeting late last night for everyone to get out to Iran, that Iran should have taken a deal when it was on the table. A veiled threat at the time, not exactly sure what President Trump meant when he took to X to talk about that. Again, Dr. K and his daughter, not the only East Tennesseans in the Middle East. 3 deputies from the Loudon County Sheriff's Office in the Middle East. They're actually stationed in Kuwait with the Tennessee Army National Guard. They have been there since last year, set to come home later on. But we actually spoke with officials at the Loudon County Sheriff's Office to get an idea about if they've had communications with their brothers in arms and exactly learning how they hope this goes for them as tensions rise just across the border.
It's very concerning. Obviously they're in that area right in the middle of everything.
Chief Deputy Zach Fry, Deputy Bo Jones, and Detective Shane Gomer, 3 Loudoun County deputies, all currently serving their country in Kuwait. They serve in the Army National Guard and have been on a routine tour since August. Now the county they serve worrying for these 3 deputies as missiles are being fired in the Middle East.
These are names I see on a regular basis, talk to several of those guys on a regular basis, and it's scary. We want them back safe, and all we can do is we can pray that the good Lord keeps a watch over them.
LCSO's Deputy Chief Chris Hutchins said for them to be there at a time like this is concerning for all.
They're over there, taking care of what they need to take care of. They're very close to coming home. So for us, it raises a level of concern for them, and also, just making sure their families are okay and that they, know that we're still here for them and things like that.
Hutchins says they know those deputies can take care of themselves, but it doesn't stop them from worrying about their friends.
It's very scary because when we're here and we're operating in the community, we feel like we have some control over it, and we're there with them, and we're in those situations locally with them. They're in a whole another level of danger, and we really, as action-oriented people, are sitting on our hands hoping that they're okay, and so it's a very helpless feeling.
Loudoun County Mayor Buddy Bradshaw says as this situation goes on, he hopes for the return of his community members and every service member currently deployed.
Scary enough for our guys to be over there away in deployment, but then you see that now that it's really going to pick up as far as the conflict, and probably looking at several high intensity events, I guess, for lack of a better term. We worry for our guys, and we want all of our men and women in armed services to get back, but this really hits close to home because these are faces and names that you see on a regular basis.
That was our Evan Lasik reporting on those Loudoun County Sheriff's deputies who are in the Middle East, again stationed in Kuwait. They're due to be home later on this summer, but again now they're right there next to Iran and in between Iran and Israel in Kuwait as that unfolds. Again, the president leaving the G7 summit early today, early last night, returning to Washington, D.C. late last night, early this morning, to learn more about what's happening in the Middle East and how America could possibly get involved. Right now, they're saying they do not plan to have American troops get involved in this battle between Iran and Israel, but they are positioning, quote, assets in the region, including a Nimitz-class carrier, to embolden the United States' presence with our ally, Israel. We have much more coverage on all of this, including Dr. K's presence in the Middle East as he and his 19-year-old daughter work to get to Jordan to be able to catch a flight. Again, all their flights out of Israel have been unable to take to the air. They've been in Jerusalem, unable to take to the air due to flights not being allowed out because of the overhead fighting that's taking place, the missiles and air defense systems protecting Israel, but also Israel firing their own missiles at Iran across the Middle East. Again, all of this coverage, including Dr. K's journey, inside your WVLT News app and inside the WVLT.tv webpage.